Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to the Friday night live stream, as usual, August 25th, 2023. Bjorn, how you doing this evening?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good, but pretty warm, I have to say.
It is warm. It is end of
It's
August,
warm.
so it should be gearing up for fall soon. But that doesn't feel like it to me.
It does
Um,
not feel like it to me either. I think the feedback temperature was close to 110 today, maybe.
oh my goodness, yeah. And you're there at the BevLive headquarters, home office and high ceilings. So I bet
High
it's
ceilings, air
sweltering.
conditioning running all day.
Yeah, that's the stuff people don't see, right? When they just see these streams. It's
That's
the
right.
whole surrounding. But yeah, summer's in full swing here, and we started at least school here, locally a few weeks ago. Some places really probably just started this week or the previous week. But yeah, it's hard to believe it's already August, and we're heading into September in a week here.
Well, we're also heading into the easier season for everybody to ship wine. As it gets
That's
cooler,
right.
it's much easier for wineries to ship out wine. You don't have to worry about temperatures and wines getting too hot in transit too much.
Exactly. And on that note, it's great. I think this is perfect timing that we're coming into the perfect shipping season for wine, and also some big platform changes on BevLive.com itself.
Yep. Lots happening here, and yeah, timing is perfect as we're getting ready to onboard wineries. It's the perfect time to do this because yeah, it's that time of the year where wineries really get out and start shipping product. And like I said, don't have to worry too much about the weather.
That's right. And I know I've been out of office, so to speak, on the last couple of streams, but it's not in vain. It was for good reason. Like you said, we've been working on a whole new platform. So when you go to bevlive.com, now or in the near future, you will notice it is completely different. It's not the previous version like it used to be, and it's for a very important reason, and that is we're changing the way that we actually have the wineries communicate with the customers and how that model of shipping will work, which is really exciting stuff. People who've tuned in have noticed probably on the last streams historically that we've talked about this for a long time, and we're finally here. I've been onboarding, the first three wineries that are going to be leading the charge on this effort for us. And it's all super exciting. I can tell they're enthusiastic about it, and I can't wait. What do you think, Bjorn?
Well, what can I add? I mean, the wineries that I'm talking to are excited to get onto the platform. I mean, it's something that is somewhat revolutionary. I mean, it's different. It's new, and it's exciting, and it's changing up an industry that has been doing the same thing for a very, very long time and kind of lagged behind other industries. And I mean, if you just look at if you look at fashion, for example, and the amount of live stream selling that's being done in the fashion industry, it's pretty big. But wine is kind of lagging behind, and it's time to catch up. And that's I think what's just so incredibly exciting is that yes, we are catching up, and BevLive is here. And we're going to get those wineries on the platform soon. Brett, you're already working on it. So, like I've said a few times in different streams, can't wait.
Can't wait. And I don't want to give too many spoilers, or I feel like we need a big reveal just for that portion when we finally have everybody on the platform ready to ship, ready to go. But for the first ones, for the products I loaded, it's really an impressive selection. I thought the label write-ups about the wines and the different tasting notes and the food pairings, they were very well thought out, and I was highly impressed to the amount of detail that these winemakers go into when they create these bottles. Is that going to be a consistent thing we can count on, Bjorn, with all these other vendors that we have stepping forward to help us with this?
I do think so, because the target audience, at least initially, will be a lot of the smaller and high-end kind of wineries. And I think that's going to be incredibly interesting for everybody who loves wine, because it's access to wines that you usually don't look for, and it all kind of comes together in one place. So it's, yes, consistency. And one thing I don't think you even noticed yet. I was going to tell you this earlier, but this may be as good time as any. When you were adding the wines for Smith Devereaux, you missed a wine, and that wine is actually done with Cedric the Entertainer.
Cool.
And I hope that we're going to talk to the winery about it. I hope that we can get that wine also on the platform. It would be a dream to have Cedric the Entertainer on the platform and doing a live stream. So we'll see how successful we are going to be in that venture. But yeah, there's some there are some interesting wines and wineries coming on board, and it's not, it's never going to be boring. It's always going to be exciting, and it's the hunt, right? I mean, it's looking for exciting things and talking to excited people, and like I just mentioned, Cedric the Entertainer, right? I mean, exciting wines that will soon be on the platform. So it definitely makes sense, especially now at the beginning, to check out the website periodically, because we will be adding new wines and new wineries. So keep on checking. It will be a process. There will be always new things happening.
It is, and that's it's a challenge right now, because we're trying to think of, as we load these wineries onto the platform, these initial adopters, how can we make this fit, make this work as we go? Because not everyone conducts business the same, but that's the beauty of BevLive, is we can bring them all in one community and make that a more cohesive experience and really seamless from discovery to purchase and everything in between. And that's what's so exciting about it to me. And for the wineries, that one of my favorite features, I think they'll love, and the consumers will love as well, who are on the platform making those purchases, is that chat now button. So if you go to each individual wineries, they have their own little shops that are hosted within bevlive.com, and say there's one of those buttons is chat now. So you actually click on that. If they're available, they'll be able to talk to you instantly. So I think this will be great. Like, to your point, Bjorn, about the true wine aficionados, this is their spot to really talk directly with those wine makers and wineries, and see what the whole, the attention to detail and everything, but the story behind it, right? And that's what got us into BevLive, I think, initially, is every bottle has a story to tell, and now they can hear it straight from the maker.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, before TV existed, people struggled to get the word out on something, right? And this and all these winemakers today are struggling just like people back then to get the word out, and there was no good medium to do so. And I think that's where it gets very exciting for the wineries. Like you say, they can tell their stories, they can communicate with the consumers, which is, honestly, that's a lot what these people live for, to communicate with the people who may be drinking the wine or who have had the wines. And it's not just about, pre-purchase, it's also post-purchase. It's like you bought that bottle of wine and you just communicate back to the winery. It's like, hey, Jane, this was the best bottle of wine I ever had. Or it's that continuous communication. It doesn't stop with the purchasing process and buying that bottle of wine. It continues, and that's kind of where relationships come in. And I think that's kind of where where we are specialists. We're here to create relationships, and it's just never been done before. The only way to do it before was to actually go to the winery, which is, truth be told, a fantastic experience. But not everybody can just jump on a plane and fly to Napa.
Right. Right.
And it's basically the next best thing to go to wine country.
Totally and wholeheartedly agree. And speaking of sort of the post-purchase, that's another feature right next to the chat button. You'll notice a support button. So if you ever have any issues with that purchase, or just a general comment about how much you enjoyed it, you can use that feature as well to give that feedback back to the winery. But yeah,
right.
Bjorn, I am pumped.
Me too.
Yeah.
One thing to mention too is, we'll be talking to more and more wineries. Let's just over the next 2 weeks, I'm setting up a meeting with, I think, 8 decision makers from 8 different wineries, and there's there's excitement in the air. It's not just us. It's the industry, I think, as a whole that's excited about it, because it's something that people have been waiting for, and it's finally here.
Yeah, and it's of the wineries we've spoken to, that seems to be the common denominator. Is not that they don't have the resources or can't figure this problem out. They just don't know how to approach it. It seems like, and they need help. They need guidance, and here it is, BevLive.com. You know, that this is the solution. And I mean, it even, Bjoern, you sent me that report from Silicon Valley Bank about the direct to consumer report from 2022, I believe that was, and they finally published that. And it was interesting to read those observations and see how important direct to consumer really is for these people in this industry.
It is. As distribution is getting more and more consolidated, it's incredibly important for these wineries to be able to sell directly to the consumer. And I think during COVID, people, wineries realized that too, as many of which had to close their cellar doors for people. And, then what other way is there to get to the consumer? So these wineries are trying to figure it out. And, that's where we paid very close attention to the needs of these wineries. Because they're all looking for different ways, because you never know when they have to close their doors again. So the digital communication, the digital connection is something that a lot of wineries are looking for, and they just haven't found the right, the right fit for their needs. And that's kind of where, like I said, we paid very close attention to the wineries, and are giving them something that they have been waiting for.
Exactly. And me as, tech guy, that's my, if I can build a platform that people can actually use and find value in, then my job is done. I can rest for the rest of my life after that. But until then, still work to do. But to your point, Bjoern, on that one is, it is tough post-COVID time, direct to consumer. I mean, that's the answer. I feel like, to get past these hurdles, these businesses and, all these boutique or, smaller wineries, I know, struggle with this. Not that all of them would be, but it's challenging getting past the post-COVID era there, and trying to find your voice again and find that space, find yourself again in that market. And that's what I really hope BevLive can help them achieve. And as long if they can benefit, then the consumers will as well, because the wine's still there to purchase. I mean, I don't want to name any names, but how many businesses have we seen locally shut down in the past 2 to 3 weeks, Bjoern, that were also part of the alcohol industry because of post-COVID effects that they can't get over? And I would hate to see that happen anymore.
No, I agree. I mean, I think if COVID gave us anything, it's trying to look for solutions and trying to find weak points within different economies. And I think, the alcohol industry is one where, we are finding a solution to the DTC world, and in other segments of the business world, people are finding other solutions. So I think it's interesting. It's like, I think exciting businesses are being built in tough times. If you look back to 2008 with the housing crisis and everything, there were several companies that are now massive companies, because they were solving a problem that was a big problem at the time. And I see this now. And so I think for the tech world, I think it's exciting, because people are looking for solutions in different parts of the business world. And the wine industry is one of them. And it really needed an overhaul. It really needed something that basically took us to the next century, because we've been selling wine in our industry for the same way for decades, and something had to change.
It is, and sometimes it takes that unfortunate forcing function in order to see a way forward on that. But hey, Bjoern, I think you kind of summed that up perfectly, and I don't think I can follow that, to be honest with you. But thank you for joining us on BevLive, and we're really excited to share the features. Hopefully next week we'll have more of an update, and hey, we might even have some stuff available for purchase. Next week, who knows?
or the first winemakers, on the platform. So yeah, stay tuned.
Right. Stay tuned. Lots of exciting stuff can happen. All right, Bjoern, we appreciate it. Cheers.
I'm still at the office, so don't have
Cheers. Yeah.
Bye, everybody.